Good morning, everybody. It is Friday morning, May 17th. I am going to do my best to wrap this in a nice little bow, but I only have 21 minutes on video available. So if you're here for an Intel update, not happening. That is not what we're talking about today. If you're a man, you probably don't want to be here for this either, unless you have women in your life that are losing their minds. There will be cussing on this video. So if you have a problem with my cussing, you might as well leave now. I've given you your warning. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this. The first thing I want to say is, I know we're supposed to be really super nice right now, and that is the goal of going into New Earth, where everything is peaceful and everything is happy. Well, in this woman's world, without some things being fixed, there ain't no happiness going to be happening. I have felt myself very angry, and I have lost my temper several times at work in the last 3 months. One of the reasons that I made my channel invisible and kind of went in was I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't quite figure out what it was. And it's just like I have this flood of emotions from people. People are dumping their shit on me, and that is not helping my problems. So I just had to kind of move away from everybody else, because if other people are feeling like I had been, it was like their stuff, toxic stuff was being dumped on my lap, and it was making things worse for me. So I had one of my receptionists that called, I don't know, she called me like a month or two ago, and she was having a bad day. She was super negative that day. And normally when someone's on a negative path, I can kind of flip it over to the positive. Well, on that particular day, I was not able to switch it to the positive, and what ended up happening was it affected me. And by the end of our conversation, I was yelling at my front desk. There were two people that worked with us in another big room. They heard a lot of it. It was not good. And I've done that several times lately. I lost my shit on an agent that came into the office one day. We had a language barrier. It was about an earnest money check. He came in and we went round and round and round in circles for 10 minutes. And by the end of it, I was so frustrated that I was like, I'm done with this conversation. And someone else had to come up from the back and take over because I was losing my shit. This has been happening a lot lately. There's this large amount of anger and frustration, and it's like my throat chakra is wide open. So when BS is coming at me, I'm just like, I am so done with it. I can't hold anything back. Even though I may be in a public place, it's like it's not being held back. And it's a little scary because that is not something that is appropriate for a front desk person. Now, fortunately, it's not been in front of tons of people or anything like that. It's been more like one-on-one than anything. But, that was part of what I was dealing with over the last 3 months is what the fuck is happening to me? And why am I so edgy and blowing up at people like this? Because, I am not generally one of those people that is losing their mind all the time. So that was one of the things that I was kind of in the process of thinking about. So when I have a situation that I know something is wrong, and I've known something is wrong because if I think about the last couple of years, last year I blamed it on stress. I had to move. Everything that happened last year, there was a lot of stress that happened. Hormones were out of whack, my thyroid medication, I was losing sleep at night, kind of got that corrected, and I was still having problems physically. No, I don't have cancer. I know that's one of the big videos that everybody does on YouTube. they drop the bomb that they have cancer. No, I don't have cancer. So take a breath. Over the weekend, I think what I realized is like I had a lot of physical issues that I couldn't figure out what was going on. I would throw different things at it and nothing was working. One of them was like, how after you work out at the gym and for a couple of days your legs hurt, you bend, it hurts, everything hurts. That had begun to be a constant for me. It was like my legs and my bones, it was like down to the bone hurt. And I feel like I noticed it last year, but I can't put my finger on, probably happened gradually over time. So that was one of the things that I was dealing with. And then I'm like having like a lot of sleepless nights or interrupted sleep and just different things making me cranky. I mean, when I'm tired and I've had 3 nights where I haven't slept very good, that's when the guy in the agent that came in, I think that was 3 nights of me not having good sleep and him coming in there and us just going around in circles and I just lost my shit on him. So I'm like going, oh my God, I've got to figure something out because I can't go on like this. And last weekend, I realized it was like the flame inside of me, like my soul, my essence, I'm not sure what it was. It felt like it was just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And my physical body was not feeling good. My emotional body was not feeling good. People were getting on my nerves to the point of where I took 4 days off, like not last weekend, but the weekend before, thinking if I can just sleep and get some rest and get away from people, I will feel better. And then the night before, that Monday night before I had to go to work on Tuesday, I was up half the night and that just like took me back a week. So that's just been this constant going on. And I know I have white knuckled it for a good 2 to 3 years, or I don't even know how long, because everybody's like, it's ascension symptoms. It's ascension symptoms. It'll go away. It's not going to fucking go away in my life because I am of that age that I don't have hormones in my body that make me happy. I don't have estrogen. I take supplements. And so anyway, long story short, Mary Claire Haver probably just saved my ass. I found her over the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, and I wasn't emotional because it's Mother's Day weekend. My mom's passed away. I don't have kids. I didn't want to have kids. That's not something that I just feel bad about on Mother's Day. That just doesn't happen. But I was digging deep inside trying to figure out, it's like going, I can't live the rest of my life like this. I've got to figure something out. And I stumbled on this lady. So that's one of the things I want to share here. Mary Claire Haver. She's a doctor who went through menopause and realized that her body was all whacked out and that the medical establishment doesn't know jack shit about women who have quit doing their hormones, or their body quits producing hormones. They spend all of their money on getting women pregnant and keeping them pregnant and what they are in the 20s and 30s. So yeah, younger women are valuable to society, and then they get to this certain age and nobody gives a shit about them because none of the research goes to that. The doctors don't study that because it's not their concern. So we are left, in my situation, I'm like, I don't know how I let this like be such a surprise to me, but it was when I realized that estrogen or lack of estrogen was probably the biggest cause of everything that was making me feel bad. I did not realize how many things the body is affected by estrogen. So Monday morning was a bad day. I mean, and I think that probably was from the solar storms, but I called my doctor and I was like, I think I want to go on estrogen replacement. So I started that 2 days ago. I have to make some changes because, like I said, I don't want to spend the next 30 years in pain and blowing up at people like I have been the last 2 to 3 months. I mean, it's not acceptable in my life. And someday somebody's going to shut me up and they're going to fire me or whatever if I don't get some of this under control. So one of the things that she had commented was when she was in medical school, the doctor, she went to Texas or something, and she goes, a lot of the men doctors would be like, well, you got a WW in that room. Good luck with them. WW stood for whiny woman. Because they didn't know what to do with her. She had all of these different complaints, but nobody knew how to fix it. Well, apparently, estrogen replacement is part of the fix. So for those of you who are on that, I would be interested to know what you're doing. If you're not on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy or anything like that, I would know what you are doing in the natural world, because this is what I know. I had to question how much money was it going to cost me to make myself feel better, and not everybody in the world will have the money to spend on that. So because I was like looking at spending a bunch of money on supplements trying to fix some of this shit that's going wrong in my body. And actually the estrogen replacement seems like it might be a little bit cheaper. But I am curious if anybody has like a particular fix of things that you, like a supplement that you started taking that made you feel better. What was it? Last time I went to the doctor, my doctor said I was low on vitamin B or vitamin B12 or whatever. So I started taking a supplement, and I do feel like that has helped some. So I am feeling a little bit better, but I think I'm feeling better mentally, because now I feel like I have an answer to what was going on. And all of this time, again, everybody was like, it's estrogen. It's, see, sometimes I forget what I'm trying to say, because that's been a problem too. It's ascension. It's ascension symptoms. It's ascension. I'm like going, well, in my case, it's not just ascension. I don't think the reason I feel like crap all the time is that I think it's because of my age. And it kind of snuck up on me. So anyway, that's one of the main things that I wanted to talk about was, if you, and I can like literally go on a list a mile long of all the things that you may be feeling, and you're thinking it's an ascension symptom and it's lack of hormonal balance that is the problem. Because, maybe we weren't meant to be older than we are. I don't believe that. I struggle with that. Yeah, okay, so our body runs out of hormones somewhere between 45 and 55. I don't think we're supposed to die then. So it's like, what do we do for the next 30 years of our life? I don't want to spend the next 30 years of my life feeling bad. So we got to figure something out. I don't know how at the moment to figure it out. All I know is that is something that I am working on, is because we have valuable information. Women our age have value. We have valuable information, and we have not gone through all of this shit for nothing. So we have to make sure that we take care of our bodies and that we feel good, and that we are not going into New Earth angry and a bitch like I have felt lately. I mean, when I say I felt like I was bipolar, I'm like, I was either wanting to punch somebody in the throat or I was laughing hysterically. It was weird. I mean, it's just like, I don't know what the hell is going on. But anyway, so that is one of the things. I think I will stop here because I have other stuff that I want to talk about, but I'm going to run out of time. And it's like little pockets of stories of things that have happened over the last 3 months that are somewhat interesting. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye. Have a good weekend.